Hope you had a great Christmas, and I want to wish you a very prosperous 2023. Espero que haya tenido unas navidades muy felices con todas las personas, con todos sus seres queridos, y le quiero desear para el 2023 un año muy próspero. Many of you know that I'm very passionate about the infinite banking concept. Basically, I'm focused on unconventional economics because I'm also involved in forex trading with artificial intelligence. But I want to talk about the infinite banking concept because there is disinformation. The same as in science and politics, there is disinformation or misinformation in the infinite banking space. Today I was reading an article from what it looked like a very accomplished individual, because he said that he spent 6 months of the year in Abu Dhabi and 6 months in Baltimore, Maryland. So you have to be fairly accomplished to be able to do that, because it's an expensive lifestyle. And he wrote an article about the infinite banking, and he talked about the cons and the pros. And when he enumerated the pros, that was good. He actually was very close to, or very precise on the pros of the infinite banking. But he also said that there were several negatives, several cons, and he talked about like 4 of them. He said that the infinite banking was basically just for rich people, and well, that's not true. I learned about the infinite banking in 2005, and Nelson Nash, the creator of the concept, he wrote the book Becoming Your Own Banker in 2000. So I learned quite early, and since then I've been a passionate promoter of the infinite banking. I do not consider myself an insurance agent, although I had to get an insurance license. I am basically a passionate promoter of the infinite banking concept. And I don't like when people put out misinformation or disinformation. Well, disinformation is when you talk about something with an intention to do harm and looking for maybe economic gain. And misinformation is when you don't know what you're talking about and you say stuff that is not true. So I would consider what this fellow presented today misinformation. So he said that one of the first points was that it was only for rich people. But Nelson, in his book, he made emphasis that it was for the average American, and that you didn't have to be rich to be able to practice it. The problem is the average American doesn't have economic education, and they allocate their income to the wrong places, especially many expensive stuff that they don't need. They are just trying to catch up with the Jones. And because of that, then it's hard for the average American to set up their infinite banking policy. And the infinite banking is a dividend-paying whole life insurance contract with a mutual company. And the second point that this individual presents is that there is no cash value in these policies, but after many years have passed. And that's not true, because the ones that we learned from Nelson and we have studied how to set up the infinite banking, we are able to design these policies that the owners of the policy have access to cash value, access to money in a couple of months. So they don't have to wait many years for that, like this individual talks about. And he also says that it is too complex. And the reason that he says that it is too complex is because normally when you want a proper infinite banking policy, a proper dividend paying whole life insurance contract, you need to talk to somebody that knows how that works. And for that reason, that is an expert. And he talked about an experience that he had with a group from Canada that they really know how to set up the infinite banking. I have learned many things from them, and he said that they wanted a fee for the guidance and for the help on growing his infinite banking policy. And maybe he didn't want to pay for it, and that's what he got upset. But you need to be an expert on the infinite banking to set up the proper policy. And that's what this fellow didn't want. And he said that that you should be able to buy insurance on your own, that it shouldn't be that complex. And that's true with term life insurance, because term life insurance is just insurance. And if you shop around, you can find term life insurance even on the internet. You shop around for pricing and ratings, and then you can buy your term policy. But permanent life insurance is different because it's a little more complex. It involves insurance, and it involves capital, it involves savings. And if you don't reach to an expert on the infinite banking, you could end up with a policy that is not optimal for the infinite banking process, because you could end up with too much insurance and not enough capital, because we actually build it backwards. We look for a certain amount of insurance that allows to put the maximum amount of money that the client is able to put. So we custom make these policies for the particular individual, and for that you need certain knowledge that will qualify you as an expert. Now, in my case, I normally get compensated, and we get compensated by the insurance company, so I don't charge any sharing of my knowledge with the people that want to work with me, and they don't have to pay me anything for the setup of the policy because the insurance policy compensates me. Now, there is some controversy about that some people could decide to build too big of a policy for an individual with the intention to earn a lot of money. But the way I understand, the followers, the students of Nelson, we are very passionate about it. So in most cases, we shoot ourselves in the foot, because our purpose is not to sell a lot of insurance. It's to sell a certain amount of insurance that allows to put in that policy the maximum amount of money that this client is able to put. So that's the reason for that. So the other point that he said is that the payments were too expensive. Well, it depends, because for an individual that does not know how to allocate his income, that he spend too much money in superfluous things, then probably he's going to be short on money to build a good policy that is going to help him for the rest of his life. So one of the things, for example, if you want to buy a car, a lot of times it's better to build the policy first, and then once the policy it has some growth, then you can take on a loan, and you could save what you can recapture what you were going to pay the leasing company or the bank that was going to finance the purchase of that car. So you're going to pay the same amount to your insurance company, and part of it is going to feed your policy and help it grow. So that's the reason that the policy could look expensive, or the payments could look expensive, is if you are not doing things the right way. Well, I wanted to share with that because, like I said, I am very passionate about the infinite banking concept, and I don't like when I hear misinformation or disinformation. And I've heard this information in cases where certain individuals want to get these people from not taking a whole life policy in interest of going a different way, maybe taking a term policy and then invest in several other different investment stocks or indices or certain maybe bonds or something, where they are paid, they get commission for putting these individuals in all those investments. So that's the reason why somebody will provide this information in reference to the infinite banking concept. And part of it is that they really don't know what they're talking about. Well, thank you for listening to this video, this stream. And if you're interested in learning learning more about the infinite banking concept, then contact me at jorgeeherrera.com, and I'll share with you what I have learned since 2005. And since I am licensed, I will be able to set up your policy that is the proper policy for you, because that's what my passion takes me to help individuals to get what they need. So thank you very much, and I'll see you. I hope to see you in the next stream. Thank you.